Yes. Thank you for joining. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. This is the Butcher Boy, Joe Shasky. Big Monday in sports. Let's go back to last Friday. I got to give love to my man, Navarro Bowman. I'm rocking the 53 jersey. You know, for most Niner fans, he's one of the greatest players to ever don a 49er uniform. And not necessarily for his longevity or what he did on the field, just what he represents. I mean, he was class personified. When we think of the great 49ers, I think of Bryant Young, Frank Gore, Ronnie Lott, Jerry Rice. Guys that not only were exemplary on the field, but were superstars off the field. And as far as how they treated people, their work ethic, the class, the humility, the perseverance. For Navarro to come back from that injury, that devastating injury in the NFC Championship game, and to even play again, let alone walk again, was remarkable. And it's sad that he had to go. And I understand in pro sports, you know, when teams are ready to get rid of somebody, sadly, it never ends well. Whether we're talking about Joe Montana, whether we're talking about Barry Bonds, whether we're talking about Steve Young retiring early, or Patrick Willis retiring early, or having to release someone like they had to do with Navarro Bowman. And, Will Clark's another great example. I don't want to sit here and dwell on the negativity of this last couple weeks of the player that he is now. Let's talk about the player he was. Let's celebrate the great guy he was for the community, the great guy he was for the organization, everything he meant. You go back to that first year when he came out and everybody loved Takeo Spikes. He was such a leader, a fan favorite, and he replaced him. And he went side by side with the other pit bull, the other Rottweiler, if you will, Patrick Willis. And there was a time that Patrick was starting to kind of diminish a little, and he was, I thought, the greatest linebacker as far as just the collection of seasons that he put together. His first 7 seasons were just unmatched. But that 2013 Navarro Bowman season, I will put that season up there against anyone's in the history of the NFL as far as elite dominance. Every single snap, stuffing the run, stopping guys in space, covering tight ends, covering running backs out of the backfield. And then his special teams impact cannot be denied. This guy was such a stud, never came off the field. We always talk about that Tony Montana special teams unit, and he was on the punt team. He was on the kick coverage team. He was phenomenal. And there's so many plays that we can talk about. The pick at the stick to close things out. But for me, a couple plays that stick out in my head, probably the number one play is that play in Atlanta to seal the NFC Championship game against Roddy White, guarding him in space. I mean, if that doesn't give you an example of how elite he was as a pass coverage linebacker, he's guarding a wide receiver who was a very good wide receiver in Roddy White out in space and bats the ball down from Matt Ryan to clinch the 49ers going back to their first Super Bowl since 1994, January of 95. And then the other big play that I remember is that second or third play of the game in the second to last ever game at Candlestick, and that was the game where he separated from the pocket. Russell Wilson did, and he was rolling out right, and Navarro, like a missile, came flying in and just absolutely crushed Russell Wilson. And it's one of those moments that set the tone for the game and just the physicality. There's so many different moments, and I love Navarro Bowman as a player. I love everything he represents. I wish him nothing but the best. Today he signed with the Oakland Raiders. A long line. Charlie Gardner, Aldon Smith, Michael Crabtree, Jerry Rice. So many different guys have gone from the Niner red and gold to the black and silver of the Oakland Raiders. And it's gone vice versa as well. You also had Jim Plunkett. There's many guys. And Ronnie Lott, another one. Navarro, I wish you nothing but the best. You truly were a 49er, class personified. And I thank you for everything you did. And anybody bashing Navarro needs to put their head on straight. He is the reason we enjoyed success during the Harbaugh era. He was one of the greats. And his 2013 season, I will put there as the greatest single linebacking season of all time, in my eyes, that I've seen. Thank you, Navarro Bowman, for your 49er career. So a couple of the Twitter mailbag questions today. 49ers. Joe, what's going on with CJ Beathard? What'd you think? Honestly, it was a pleasant surprise. Brian Hoyer was unwatchable. Absolutely unwatchable. I don't want to see Brian Hoyer take another snap for this organization ever again. We're going nowhere with him. We're going nowhere regardless. But I don't want to see Brian Hoyer ever again. And if we're just comparing the two quarterbacks from yesterday, yeah, of course, he was down 17-0. Beathard comes in. I actually saw a lot of moxie from the young guy. Do I think he can be a superstar? No, I don't think he can be a superstar. But I do think at the very least his bottom is a 6-7 year NFL backup. And that's a good thing. You got him in the third round. Let's see what he can be this year. Let's see what he can do next year. Maybe he pushes whoever you draft. Maybe you take somebody late. I don't know what the draft situation is going to be because I got to see where we land. But as far as his skill set, if I'm just comparing him to Hoyer, I saw a decisive guy who made good decisions at the line. I saw a guy who could move around a little in the pocket. Yeah, he ran into a few sacks, but he's a rookie. He's a freaking rookie. And the Redskins are a pretty good team. They're a borderline playoff team last year. He threw the ball very accurately. Yeah, there's a couple throws he wanted back. I thought the speed of the game was a little much at times, but I saw a guy who was willing to chuck the ball down the field, kept his eyes down there, got us into the right play. I saw somebody who was much more accurate on a lot of the out throws that Hoyer couldn't hit, what Kurt Warner would call the layups for a quarterback in the NFL. You got to hit those easy little out passes, and Beathard did that. I think Kittles dropped a few balls. He looks like a nice complementary piece. I don't know if Kittles can ever be as good as Vernon was, per se, but Vernon was a really good player. I know he left a lot to be desired, but he was a really, really good player. 50 career touchdowns. That's great production out of your tight end. I don't know if Kittles will ever be that, but he looks nice. You know, I like what I saw from C.J. Beathard. Is there, are we going to see superstar Dak or Russell Wilson develop in the third or fourth round? Probably not. I see a little more Sean Hill or even a Kirk Cousins with a little less skill. But you know what? I mean, this team hasn't had much to root for at the quarterback position. We haven't really drafted a guy to actually play since Colin Kaepernick, and that was in 2011. It's freaking 2017. That's 6 years ago. So at the very least, it was watchable and exciting. I thought they got absolutely hosed on that last offensive pass interference call. I mean, Garcon's the intended target and you're calling an offensive pass interference? Are you freaking kidding me? What game are you watching? That's the second time the 49ers late in the game was decided on a horrible wide receiver penalty thrown by the official when you'd never see New England or Seattle or New Orleans get called for any of that type of pick play or offensive pass interference. That was atrocious. But you know what? I saw a young quarterback who breathed some life, not only into the team, into the roster, into the head coach, but also into the freaking fan base. And that's what's most important. The fan base needs something to go out to Levi's, something to stick on their couch and watch 49er football. I tweeted out in the first half, I said, I don't know how much longer I can sit here and watch Hoyer. I've watched so much bad football between Kaepernick, Gabbert, and now Brian Hoyer. I don't know how much longer I can sit on my couch and be compelled to watch 49er football when there's absolutely no hope. I don't care if you go 0-16. I really don't. But you can't trot out Brian Hoyer anymore. I don't want to see him the rest of the year, and I'm glad that Kyle Shanahan decided to name C.J. Beathard his starting quarterback. Let's see what the kid has. I'm cautiously optimistic, and at the very least, it's something we're building on. And if we lose out, great, that's fantastic. I still, regardless of what I see from CJ this year, I want to bring in another quarterback for next year. I don't care where it is in the draft, I'm bringing in someone. Many different examples where you had Jimmy Clausen in Carolina in the second round. They drafted him. The very next year, they drafted Cam Newton first overall. You saw it in Tampa Bay with Mike Glennon. They took him, I think, in the second or third round. The very next year, they took Jameis Winston. This does not mean that you can't still draft a quarterback high. But I think one thing we can put to rest, no more Kirk Cousins talk. No more of it. Yesterday was a clear example. The difference between Kirk Cousins and a rookie quarterback isn't that great. It's not that great. The difference isn't that big. I can compete with a rookie quarterback making 1/30th the amount that Kirk Cousins is. So do not pay Kirk Cousins. All I saw was a couple of screens, slants, crossing routes. He connected on 2 balls past 15 yards. One of them, Vernon Davis got open because Ray Armstrong got burned off the line trying to guard him. I don't even start me there. But you know what? This is some positivity. The games have been exciting. I know they've lost. They're the greatest 0-6 team of all time. Give me a break. I'm not. You're losing. There's no great 0-6 team. I'm sorry. I don't get. We're the greatest 0-6 team of all time. Get out of here with that bullshit. Just get me the number 1 pick. Let Kyle choose between all these quarterbacks. He'll have carte blanche. Maybe it's Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I don't know. I got to see how the draft board shakes down. I got to see where we finish up. But you know what? These last 10 games, and now that you're facing your arch rival in the Cowboys, at least there's a reason to tune in. At least there's a reason to go down to Levi's. I'm excited for CJ Beathard. Let's see what the kid has. Thank you for tuning into the Butcher Shop Daily Vlog. If you like what you've seen, if you got any questions, leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be posting all kinds of fun videos. Some golf, some hoops, some baseball, my different travels throughout the day, and trying to do something different. I appreciate the support. Any suggestions, comments, leave them below. And again, enjoy your day.